Older adults. Did you know that after 60, love can become one of the greatest sources of happiness, but it can also lead to deep disappointment? Many people at this stage of life end up in relationships that steal their peace, drain their energy, and even jeopardize the security they spent decades building. But there's a simple way to protect yourself: learn to recognize the right signs. In today's video, I'll show you the 3 traits of someone you absolutely need to avoid, and also the 3 traits of someone who can truly bring you genuine love and happiness after 60. You're watching the Life Guidance After 60 channel, created especially to offer advice and real-life stories for those over 60. Since we're a new channel, we really need your support. Please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming stories. It usually starts magically: constant compliments, sweet messages first thing in the morning, attention to every little detail. It feels like care, like affection, and your heart opens up. After so long, receiving love warms your soul. That first date becomes a showcase of kindness. The person insists on picking the wine, in your honor, orders the most expensive dish, because you deserve it, and talks about the future with sparkling eyes. You go home feeling like something special has finally begun. But over time, subtle clues start appearing, almost imperceptibly. Conversations begin to revolve around gifts, trips, and monthly bills. You deserve comfort after working so hard your whole life. The words sound sweet, but soon they turn into gentle nudges toward your wallet. First, it's a perfume, just for special occasions. Then, a new smartphone, so you can stay even closer. Every expense comes wrapped in the same justification: celebrating your love. The problem is, the celebration always seems to depend on your money. When you suggest something simple, their enthusiasm vanishes. Then comes the first real shock. At a restaurant, you forget your wallet. You offer to send a transfer later or split the bill. But their smile fades, and their tone changes. That's such a bummer. I wasn't prepared for that. That dinner, which should have been intimate and pleasant, turns into a disguised demand. That's when a warning light flashes: real affection adapts, but interest in personal gain creates discomfort. Days later, things escalate. Suddenly there's an emergency: a family member needs help with a quick loan, supposedly to be repaid in just a few days. You say you'd prefer to think it over, maybe even talk to a lawyer, because you never mix romance with money. And then the attack comes: accusations of distrust, emotional manipulation, and the unsettling feeling that it's your fault for not giving in. It's a silent trap, flipping the situation so you feel wrong for protecting what you've earned. By the end of this video, you'll learn the 3 traits of someone who could ruin your happiness, and also the 3 traits of someone who can bring real love, companionship, and peace into your life after 60. That way, you'll have the clarity to choose wisely and protect what truly matters: your joy, your dignity, and your peace of mind. It's your loved one's birthday. You prepare something special, even if simple: a cake, some flowers, a handwritten letter. The gesture comes straight from the heart. But instead of being moved by the thought behind it, they thank you and quickly suggest making this day unforgettable by proposing a piece of jewelry as proof of commitment. In this context, the word commitment always comes attached to material things. Affection turns into a receipt. Without realizing it, you start measuring the mood of your relationship by the price on the invoice. A conversation with a longtime friend brings clarity. He asks, when you're together, what do you really share? Stories, laughter, plans, or just your bank account? The question echoes deeply. You remember the times you tried to talk about your health, simple dreams, or how you hope to age with peace, and they'd steer the conversation toward brands, expensive restaurants, and luxury trips. The emptiness of those memories weighs more than any expense ever could. You decide to run a fair test, setting small boundaries. You suggest splitting expenses, including free activities, and planning purchases ahead of time. Their response is impatience. You've changed, they snap. Life loses its fun with so many rules. But what really loses its spark is the relationship once the easy access ends. True love thrives within boundaries, self-interest wilts when the source runs dry. Then comes the turning point. One afternoon, they show up with a contract to simplify the couple's routine, an additional credit card, access to your bank account, permission to sign your name on certain purchases, all justified as convenience. You read it carefully and see the danger. You ask questions, and their final sentence pulls off the mask. If you love me, why are you afraid? Love used as a password to invade your autonomy, your history, your hard work. Your reply is firm yet respectful. You explain that affection without reciprocity is a risk, and that a real partnership requires balance and transparency. You propose alternatives, separate finances, shared goals, mutual protection. They fall silent, change the subject, and book an expensive dinner to ease the tension. You calmly decline and ask for time. The next day, you send a clear message, no accusations, just honesty. You recall the good moments, acknowledge the beauty of the beginning, but firmly state what's non-negotiable: your time, your peace, and everything you've built. Hours later, their reply arrives, short and final: I think it's best we each go our own way. And just like that, they're gone. Strangely, instead of pain, you feel relief. The charm that once seemed sweet has revealed itself as a trap, and you walked away before the bitter ending. To close this chapter with maturity, you take simple steps: update your passwords, speak with your bank manager, and organize your finances. More than protection, it's self-respect. And slowly, life regains its color. Coffee tastes like coffee again, no longer burdened by the weight of paying for affection. A simple gesture reveals the true value of genuine care. At the pharmacy, someone asks for help reading a prescription. You stay with them, explain the instructions, make sure they get the right change, and receive a sincere smile in return. A real exchange. Love that costs time, presence, and honesty, and is worth far more than any gift wrapped in empty promises. And it's in this moment that the mask finally falls away completely. What seemed like care turns out to be self-interest, and the word love is revealed as nothing more than a key to unlock your wallet. But by the end, you'll see how the decision you made changes everything, and how true happiness can lie in the simplest gestures, exactly where you least expect it. The relationship that once seemed peaceful gradually transforms over time. At first, the person appeared charming, complimenting every little detail and making you believe you'd finally found a safe harbor after so many years of struggle. Feeling valued brought hope, the sense that this presence might finally offer peace and joy. But little by little, that charm revealed another side. Subtle criticisms began to surface, always accompanied by an almost constant look of dissatisfaction. Suddenly, everything around you became a reason to complain. A simple lunch lost its worth because it lacked seasoning. A peaceful walk was no longer enough, since the route was deemed boring. Even light-hearted conversations were steered toward grievances. You tried to understand, telling yourself it might just be a tough phase, but the constant negativity turned the atmosphere heavy. The home you once saw as a refuge started losing its warmth. One day, you decide to prepare a surprise. You arrange an afternoon tea, set the table with fruits and cakes, hoping to bring back the lightness you've been missing. But when they arrive, their reaction hits like a bucket of cold water. That's it? I thought you'd do something more special. That short sentence wipes the smile right off your face. In that instant, it becomes clear, no effort ever seems enough. The problem isn't the tea or the table, it's how the other person chooses to see the world. Daily life turns into an exercise in patience. You start weighing every word to avoid conflict, but even silence becomes grounds for criticism. You never say anything, you seem distant. When you finally open up, you're told you talk too much. Balance disappears, and the energy that should be shared in companionship becomes exhaustion. Gradually, you notice you don't laugh as easily anymore. Songs you once loved now sound dull, and mornings no longer bring lightness. Then, an unexpected conversation brings clarity. A grandchild, a friend, or even a neighbor casually asks, "Why do you always seem so tired now? You used to smile more." That simple remark acts like a mirror. Where did the joy of simply being present go? It becomes obvious, living with someone who never finds peace turns every moment into a burden. Their endless complaining isn't venting, it's pouring poison that slowly drains your vitality. This awareness creates space for a difficult but necessary decision. Continuing to carry this emotional weight would mean giving up your very essence. By choosing to protect your joy, you realize you're safeguarding far more than your present well-being, you're defending the dignity of your entire life. And it's here that the hardest truth emerges: living with someone who only complains doesn't just steal moments of happiness, it steals your very self. But by the end, you'll see how this decision changes everything, and why choosing the right person can mean the difference between carrying a burden and living in peace. The feeling of being cared for can be sweet at first. Small acts of attention seem like genuine affection. "You'd better wear this shirt, it looks more elegant on you, don't spend so much on that, I'll manage it better, let me decide, it's for your own good." At first, these words sound protective, as if your partner were simply looking out for your well-being. But over time, that concern takes on a different shape. What once seemed like care slowly becomes an invisible web of control. Accustomed to managing your own life, you begin to notice that every choice now requires approval. From the restaurant you'd like to visit to the destination of a simple trip, everything must pass through the other person's judgment. Your bank statements are scrutinized, your plans to see friends are questioned, and even TV shows become a source of conflict. The autonomy you earned through decades of effort and experience starts giving way to a suffocating feeling, as if you've been thrust back into a late adolescence, unable to make decisions for yourself. One incident makes this shift unmistakably clear. An invitation to reunite with old friends fills you with excitement. You look forward to sharing stories and laughter. But when you mention it, the reply comes coldly: "Those people don't add anything to your life. It's not worth going." Your attempt to explain is cut short by a list of justifications that erase your wishes. The reunion, which could have brought lightness, is replaced by bitter silence. In that moment, it's clear, it wasn't just an outing that was cancelled, it was a piece of your freedom that was taken away. As days pass, the surveillance intensifies. To buy a book, you must explain why. When you call a child or a friend, you're pressured to recount the conversation. Every step of your routine is monitored, as if you've become a prisoner in your own home. And the worst part isn't the watchfulness itself, it's the effect it has, eroding your identity. After so many decades of choices, struggles, and victories, it's heartbreaking to feel treated as someone incapable of steering your own life. Until one ordinary afternoon, the realization hits. While coming across an old photograph from your first solo trip, you see yourself smiling with the lightness of someone who was free to choose their own path. Holding that photo, you understand that true care doesn't suffocate, it liberates. Love isn't about control, it's partnership. And with courage, you decide to face the situation head-on. You speak firmly, without raising your voice, but make it clear, respect only exists when both people have autonomy. The reaction isn't easy. Accusations, tears, and even emotional blackmail follow. But by standing your ground, something stronger than the fear of loss emerges, the certainty that dignity is non-negotiable. In reclaiming your freedom, you also reclaim your essence, proving that after 60, living fully doesn't mean giving up your right to make your own choices. And in that moment, it becomes clear, what seemed like care was actually control, a silent prison stealing your freedom. Next, you'll discover the 3 traits of the person who can destroy your happiness, and the 3 traits of someone who can truly bring you genuine love after 60. After so many life experiences, it's evident that a relationship can be either a source of peace or turmoil. For those who have already fought, built, and overcome so much, choosing the right partner makes all the difference. There are warning signs that should never be ignored. They reveal whether the path ahead leads to serenity or exhaustion. The first trait of someone who steals your joy is selfishness. When everything revolves around their desires, the other person becomes merely a supporting character in their own life. The second dangerous trait is manipulation, twisting facts and emotions to gain advantage, always leaving the other person holding the blame. The third is emotional instability, turning each day into an emotional roller coaster where even the smallest detail becomes a reason for conflict. Living like this is like walking on fragile ground. You never know when it will give way beneath you. Conversely, there are qualities that nurture true love, the kind that strengthens rather than drains you. The first is respect, valuing your partner's life story, listening to their opinions, and honoring their autonomy. The second is generosity, not shown through expensive gifts, but through simple, caring gestures, making tea on a tough day, supporting an important decision, or simply being present. The third is emotional stability. Being with someone who manages their emotions well brings security, trust, and creates a peaceful environment. Learning to recognize these signs isn't about distrust, it's wisdom. We stop pouring energy into relationships that erode us and start nurturing connections that enrich our lives. Because, ultimately, true love in later life isn't measured by what you have, but by how you feel. The right person is the one who lets your heart rest instead of racing in fear. They add to your life, rather than subtract from it. They're the companion who turns each day into a chapter filled with serenity and deep connection. Talking about love after 60 goes far beyond romance. It's about dignity, inner peace, and protecting everything you've built over decades. The story you've just read is just one clear example of how the wrong choice can turn something sweet into a silent prison. At first, everything seemed affectionate, gifts, attention, compliments that warmed your heart. But over time, it became obvious this wasn't love, it was self-interest, manipulation, and control. And here lies the lesson: those with life experience must look beyond pretty words. True love isn't proven by an expensive piece of jewelry or a contract demanding your freedom. It reveals itself in small acts of respect, generosity, and balance, a sincere smile, a calm conversation, someone who listens to your dreams and honors your story. That's real love. How many people have mistaken affection for control, or generosity for expectation? And how many have paid dearly for it, whether financially or emotionally? That's why this message isn't about distrusting everyone, but about recognizing the right signs. It's about learning to tell who's with you out of convenience, and who's with you out of genuine love. Ask yourself, you deserve to live this stage of life with peace, lightness, and authentic companionship. And to achieve that, choosing wisely is essential. Avoid people who constantly complain, turn everything into drama, or try to control your every move. Instead, cherish those who bring respect, balance, and sincere care. That's the core message. Love in your later years can be your greatest source of happiness, but only if you can distinguish between someone who's with you for personal gain, and someone who's truly there out of love. Holding on to this lesson ensures your next life chapters are written with peace, companionship, and joy. Our channel was created to share guidance and meaningful reflections for those embracing life's richest phase, after 60. We're just beginning this journey, and we need your support to grow. So please, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and help spread these messages of inspiration.